What is up, Flockers? That is my fellow Lockers and aspiring Lockers. Today's video is my 3-lock year anniversary. It's my 3-lock year anniversary. It's my 3-lock year anniversary. So I'm just going to be talking about a couple of things that maybe have changed with my locks or maybe are the same since year 2. And that's what this video is going to be about. So if you're interested in that, then stick around. Not going to hold y'all for a long time. At 3 years, there's not that many differences than there are at year 2 for me personally, but length is definitely a thing. But I have to put a little bit of a precursor on that because about 2 or 3 months ago, I did an undercut, which is time to shave that on down, but different time, different video. So obviously I don't have the length that I would have had if I had locks still in here and around the rest of my head where the undercut is. But where I do have locks, those locks have grown. But something else that I did when I did the undercut was because when I had my full set of locks, they were very nicely layered. Like it was just this natural layering of the locks. But since then, without having the sides and the back, it just kind of looked a little weird. It looked a little bit like jagged edge, like we were just doing a lot of ski sloping. And I wasn't too fond of that look. So I did go in with some scissors and evened it out for the most part all around my head. So what that means is that to get the jagged edge look to go away, I was cutting off a good 2 to 3 inches on some locks. So I have lost some overall length that would have been there otherwise, but I'm not tripping about it because the locks are growing, the locks are flourishing. The maintenance is so low at this point that I don't even honestly think about it much, which if you could see, I am way overdue for a retie, but that's the perfect thing. Like my roots don't mesh together at all anymore. I'm not having to separate or pop them at year 3. Yeah, y'all, I just let them go. The first 2 years of my lock journey, probably 2.5 years of my lock journey, I kept a schedule, a list in my phone of every day that I did a retie, and I would go to the calendar and I would look and I would count if I was doing 5 weeks in between or if I was doing 6 weeks. Then when I pushed it to 7 and 8 weeks, I kept that thing on a strict regimen to make sure that I was maintaining my schedule. And because back then my roots were meshing, and so I would have to go in and pop my roots and separate them just to keep things looking nice and neat. But since I don't have to do that anymore, I no longer keep that schedule. Something tells me I'm still around that 8 to 9 week mark, but I honestly don't know. When I feel like it's time and I have the time, that's when I go in and retie. So you can see I have new growth that needs to be retied, and I don't know, maybe I'm only at like week 7. I'm not sure. My hair seems to grow pretty quickly. Maybe I'm at week 8. I don't know, but it's time. We've just been busy doing another DIY project, and so that has taken precedent. It's taken over a week to do, which is the longest DIY project I think we have ever taken on. It is a large one. So my hair has taken a back seat and priority in terms of doing my retie, but it's not a big deal because it's been up in a ponytail for the most part, so we're good. The roots have been doing amazingly. The length is lengthening. I remember in the beginning of my journey, I could barely get my lock when I stretched it, and it was still coily and stretchy to be able to come down to I couldn't even get it to the bottom of my nose. But now my locks in the front, naturally hang below my nose. And then if I pull them, we're all the way down here, under chin, not far from clavicle level. So the locks are definitely growing, even though you can't see the overall length. Like I said, if I had a full set of locks, but that's okay because this is where I am in my journey right now. I'm loving the undercut. I'm loving that when I go to do my reties, it's no longer taking me around 6 hours to complete a retie. It's only taking me about 1.5 hours, 2 hours because of minimizing the amount of locks that are on my head. Just an edgier look and style and something different. Some people are okay with having the same look and stuff for years and years. I'm the type of person that I get bored if I have the same look for too long, so sometimes I like to change it up. For those wanting to know, I did start my locks out with braids, so I have Braidlocs, and even in year 3, there are still braid pattern in some of my locks. That has not changed, and I still have coily ends, so if anyone out there is thinking that by year 3, you're just gonna have fully formed locks with sealed ends and no braid pattern. That's not necessarily the case. It could be for you, but for me it's not. My ends, like I said, some of them are cut. So like these are cut. I can see that these, but they still have coils on them. This one has a big coil on it, and I still see braid pattern. I don't know how well it's gonna come off on camera, but there's at least 2 inches of, well, I say visible. When I'm this close, I can tell, but when it's further away, I can't tell that it's a braid. But at 3 years in, there is still braid pattern in some of these. And for someone who is really nitpicky about the pattern and whether or not you can see the pattern, that might make a difference for you in terms of your starter method. If you're really nitpicky and don't want to see the pattern after a certain amount of time, then braids might not be the way to go for you, just because the braid method, although it does elongate your locks and help you to retain the length, not retain it, but help you to the illusion of retaining your length, because it elongates it more than other starter methods. But then you're stuck with braid pattern in your hair for longer. So it's just a delicate balance of what's more important to you. Is it more important to have your locks appear longer or your hair appear longer in the beginning so it looks like you didn't lose any length and you don't have a ton of shrinkage like with other styles? Or is it more important for you to not maintain the length, but to have your locks lock up and look like locks and lose their pattern, you know, in 4 months, 8 months, a year and a half? And honestly, y'all, that's about it. I will go in and do my retie sometime soon. I'm still using the 4-point rotation. Nothing's changed there. The products that I use on my hair are pretty much the same. I kind of go through rotations where I'll rotate products in and out, but my staples are still my staples. And yeah, like I said, in year 3, it is very low maintenance. I ashamedly sometimes go days without doing anything to my hair at all. Like I said, when I get super busy and I got a DIY project or something, I have not misted my hair probably in a week, just because I've been outside working every day in the hot sun and I'm just not thinking about moisturizing, which I should be, because I can feel my hair is very dry right now. So hopefully we will finish up this project in the next day or 2, and then I can wash and moisturize my hair and treat it the way that it needs to be treated so we can bring the life back to it. If you found this video helpful and insightful, please hit that like button so I know what type of videos you are enjoying, and also hit the subscribe button so that you can join the flock. And before you go anywhere, check out some of the other videos that have popped up on the screen. I'll see you there.